Maruping. She's actually the very first woman director at the National Research Foundation, that's what she's in front of me today. And we've asked her to come today to know more about her and other things. I think this is just a very, very short interview just to get to know her in person and who she is as a woman. I think right now we can start. Can you please tell us and tell everybody here who is Pontsho Maruping?
Good afternoon, ladies. Awesome to see so many women here. Can you guys hear me if I just shout? Good afternoon. I know it might be easier if I stood, but even if I was standing, I'd still be the side. So my name is Pontsho Maruping. I guess I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister to two younger siblings. Yeah, I'm a keen golfer. I love the outdoors. I love running. Those are the things I kind of want to do, and the things I have to do those things. So I'm responsible for the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory as the Managing Director. And I started this role just under a year now, so October last year.
Can you please tell us where were you born and your fondest childhood memories?
So I was born in Middleland, Soweto. You can still hear me? Yes. I'm going to try scream. I was born in Middleland, Soweto. My parents actually lived in a little four-room house. So we didn't have a bathroom inside. It was a kitchen, a lounge, and 2 bedrooms. Yeah, that's where I grew up for, I would say, the first formative years of my life. I grew up in Middleland, Soweto. Fondest childhood memory, yeah, strangely enough, it was when my youngest sister was born. It was kind of a difficult time in South Africa. She was born in 1976, a really difficult time in South Africa in general. But it was, I guess I was old enough to actually appreciate having a youthful, bubbly young baby in the house. So yeah, I would say that would be
Yes. In my case, right? But in my case, just like in my case, when I grew up, I wanted to be, like when I was very young, I wanted to be a soldier to shoot people around. Just wanted to shoot people and I realized soldier to shoot people. What did you want to be when you were very young?
Honestly, I don't have a sense of what I wanted to be. I think growing up, when I grew up, the only people we knew were nurses and teachers. You know, if you're a black young girl growing up, those were your primary role models. I literally just stumbled through the stuff I've done in my career, yeah, it's been an awesome ride. I just knew I loved science, so that's all I knew. I got in trouble enough taking things apart to know that I literally just love building and figuring out how things work. So, yeah.
Yes, they're very people. If right now we can actually be in a car, like you alone, driving as far, like you said you're from Middle East, right? You're driving to Middle East, you must keep only one album. What album will that be?
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick is Bongilo Kumalo album. Both my parents are awesome singers, so yeah, we used to love singing, you know, on road trips, and my dad loved Bongilo Kumalo, so yeah, I would say that would pick any one of her albums up. Yeah, that's one I would listen to repeatedly.
It's very different. Let's hope it works. The volume seems low. Low. Okay, but anyway, I'll keep on shouting again. Going on to the next one, going back to your career, why did you study and what influenced your choice?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, my memory of people that I admired were nurses and teachers. So I initially actually studied mathematics and science teaching. I thought I was going to teach math and science, but ended up doing a whole range of other things. So studied mineralogy and then studied engineering, and so totally different things throughout my career. So yeah, I mean, there isn't one thing, to be fair.
Like studying everything. Okay, like you're looking back in time, right? A 10-year-old you. Will that person look at you right now and be proud of, yes, I'm where I am? Or this is my role model?
Yeah, I think a 10-year-old me would be silly not to be proud. Not only of where I am, to be honest, of the journey I've had throughout my career. I feel like I've just ended up being in the right place at the right time most of my career, to a point that I'm not unhappy at all with anything that I've done so far.
You will be proud. Okay. Going to your life experiences, who are the most important people in your life, and who are the most important people in your life and in your childhood?
I mean, in my childhood, I would say my parents, definitely. My mom is, I just grew up seeing her as a strong, determined woman who got stuff done. Like, literally, sometimes when I look back at the things she did when she did them, I'm just blown away. My dad, for teaching me to live life to the fullest, being a free spirit who tried everything and anything. I just thought he was super courageous. Career-wise, I'd say, the two people that stand out was a scientist that I worked with, Dr. Hannah Hosh. Her name was Dr. Hannah Hosh. I worked with her at Anglo-American Laboratories. She gave me my first leadership role at 25 years old, when I knew nothing about leading people, and to be fair, I've never looked back. And then the second person I would say would be, his name was Sipho Masondo. He was the transformation manager at Anglo, so responsible for transformation, and he kind of gave me the right tools to, work within a system that doesn't always favor people who look like me, and be able to find impact wherever I could.
And still on the life experiences and accomplishments, what is your biggest achievement and how did you get there?
So I think the one thing I'm most proud of, that I kind of sometimes feel like I don't even care that people know I was responsible for it, is establishing the South African National Space Agency. It was 2 years of literally doing everything from developing a business case, getting legislation in place, doing stakeholder engagements, taking that to Parliament. And when it was finally established, I wasn't even at DSI anymore, but I had done all of the legwork to get that started. So yeah, I mean, I kind of always look back at that and really appreciate that, that exists because of the effort I put in. What was your second part? So as I've kind of mentioned, I started my career in mining, and then when the new democracy started, decided that I wanted to be part of building the science system in South Africa. And at the time, during the Department of, it was Science, Technology, no, Arts, Culture, Science and Technology at the time. Yeah, and you know, as part of the programs that I ended up responsible for, was, you know, ended up being responsible for space science, and that's how I ended up, you know, in space in general, and that's kind of charted even how I ended up at SARAO at the moment.
Okay, coming to the opposite of my previous question, and the biggest disappointment, what transfer those words?
I mean, career-wise, I think there's probably one thing that stands out, honestly, is I was working at TIA at the time. I worked with this team where we were trying to develop a program with the mining sector to try and drive innovation in mining. And we did everything, including getting the board to approve the framework, like literally engaging mining companies, having them commit putting money into a program. And unfortunately, the board changed before we could formalize it, and the new board just was not interested. And I guess I got so frustrated that I didn't figure out how to still make it work, you know, and it kind of felt like I'd let down the people that worked so hard for months and months to make this happen, and it kind of didn't work out. So it's still a bit of a sore thing for me to think about.
So I need to bring you back to yourself. Okay, yes. And if you could have superpowers, which one will that be? A superpower? Which one will that be?
Definitely teleporting. I'm an adventurer at heart, an explorer. I would love to be, yeah. You know, I've traveled a lot, probably been to every continent except Antarctica. So I genuinely would just want to continue that. But not only that, I think just the ability, I mean, my family is everywhere now, so just the ability to be there when they need me physically to be there, you know, would be just awesome. Yeah, and then, you know, in minutes I'm back to where I need to be.
You want to cover the whole world in just 1 second. That's nice, that's a nice superpower right there. And then how did you become interested in your current position or the current field?
I mean, like I said, you know, since working on establishing the space agency, I think my love for space, you know, was born and kind of grew from there. And I've only ever done space-related things since then. I actually wasn't even sure that I wanted to be MD, to be fair. I remember Rob asking me if I'm going to apply, and I thought, nah, I don't know, man, just pay me. And he said, look, you know, you should try. And I think the reason I did it is because when I was an executive at TIA, at some point, you know, there was an opening for a CEO there that I didn't take up, and I remember years later regretting not doing it, because in the end I think they hired someone who didn't work out, the organization kind of almost fell apart. So I didn't want to feel that way, right? And that's one thing. The other thing is, you know, I feel like as women we generally are very hesitant taking on, you know, demanding roles, and you know, unless we put ourselves there, it can't happen, right? So somebody has to do it for the industry, for organization to accept that women can lead organizations.
I think that's basically the first move you did right there. To actually bring these theoretical things of men that must lead, must rule everything. I think you did a very good job right now. What do you like mostly about your job? I
love that it's such a, to me it's literally a once-in-a-lifetime type opportunity, right? Even if we will build other big-size projects, this is the one that's happening now. There's no guarantee there will ever be another one. Even if there is another one, it will not be a radio telescope, right? So I love that about being here. And I would say that I also literally, we had a session with my team not so long ago, and we're talking about, what's good about our organization. And there's two things. One, we have some of the most amazing, talented people at SARAO. Like, I don't know if I've ever worked with so many really clever people. That's the one thing. And the other thing is they are good people. Like, I just think everyone loves what they're doing there. It's not perfect, there isn't a perfect organization, but everyone, whenever we have visitors who go to site and we have different people showing them what we do, my focus is always just on how people seem so excited to tell other people about what they're doing. Like it just shines through all the time. And yeah, so I would say those are really the things I love about my job.
That is very awesome. And what do you hate about it? Yeah, you love so many things, but I want to know that one thing.
Ooh.
This is just between us, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of get why we talk about the one NRF. The biggest disadvantage, though, is that it kind of assumes we can all do things the same way. So I think that the toughest thing I feel is I don't know that as an executive, as an MD, I have enough leverage to do the things I really want to do with the organization, simply because there'll be a directive here and there'll be a new policy and shows up at your door, you must just make it work. So if I were to choose one thing, I would say, not being able to push the boundaries a little bit.
That one is fair, yeah. As a director, you must actually be able to do almost about everything. You must actually, I think you're the one who can actually change the constitution, right? But going further on the next question, how do you think the science and engineering industry can actually encourage more women to actually be joining on this field?
So I mean, the one thing about transforming places is really just about giving people an